Although the Cayman Islands Freedom of Information Law has only been in place for about 6 months, the FOI office here is already being used as an example to other Caribbean countries.
The Bermuda Cabinet Office contacted the Cabinet Office here. They had learned about some of the work that we had done. We had been at a workshop a number of years ago when we were both at the same stage of preparing a bill, and Cayman has advanced significantly since then. We now have a law. I think firstly they really want to find out a little bit more about why our law is drafted in the way it is, and what some of the provisions mean, and how what we've learned about these provisions since the implementation period, how are exemptions being applied, and what's the process of internal review. They also want to know about the administrative structures that we've put in place, information managers, the FOI tracking system that tells us how many requests have been made. They really want to learn on the ground practical issues in relation to implementation so that they can avoid maybe some pitfalls when they actually have a law.
We've done a lot of consultation around the world: England, Ireland, Sweden. We've been to Dominica. The reason why we wanted to come to Cayman is because you're small, similar size to Bermuda, some commonalities in the history, but also importantly, you are also an overseas dependent territory. We have some questions about, I guess, the background of certain provisions in the legislation. We're interested in how they planned for implementation, how they came up with the project plan, provisions in terms of the budget, how it was sort of determined. We know that certainly that the legislation is relatively new in terms of implementation, but are there any things that Cayman would maybe could have done differently, or how if they could sort of improve upon things, how would you do that?
The law was passed in 2007 and it actually came into force on January 5th, 2009. So pretty much we've had the first 6 months and we're very, very excited. It's been a very, very successful law. When you compare it to other jurisdictions which have FOI laws, you can see that a lot of people have used it. We still have to do more public education, public awareness, but we're very, very happy with the results we've had thus far. So the things that were really well, we were very successful with, I think they may adopt something similar. And where we found that maybe there were little small gaps, so things should have been done differently, we can advise them of that. Because it is a learning process. You learn from everyone else's mistakes, so you don't make the same mistakes.
I hope that we can encourage and assist them as they move forward. I think it always helps to have people who have gone forth before, and especially for such a small country, and the fact that we're both British overseas territories.
Well, the thing is, they really wanted to see how FOI has been done in Cayman and how we're continuing to do it. And because we have a meeting with the Information Managers Network every 3 months, we decided, okay, let's go ahead, let's have this meeting. They can come to it, they can see the sorts of things that we discuss every 3 months with the people who make the FOI decisions. And also too, like we thought, okay, well, they need to, speak with GIS, they need to speak with the National Archives, they need to speak with the Information Commissioner's Office, because these are people who, at the end of the day, you work together. I mean, they work with the FOI unit. The Archives is responsible for the records management training, which is an integral part of freedom of information. So we wanted to make sure that they can see and do and learn from us as much as they can, as much as we could fit into 3 days.
We got to talk to the information managers, and I guess the people who are dealing with the requests, who have to make the decisions, so the people that are actually in the in the trenches. Because sometimes you have people making legislation and they're over in one area, but are not really thinking about the people that actually have to implement it and deal with it on a regular basis. So this morning was quite useful.
We have almost 400 requests being made under the Cayman Islands Freedom of Information Law now. So far we've had very timely response by information managers to requests, and people are getting information. The rate of grant is about 45%, both being granted and information that was already in the public domain. So we're learning a lot more. I think we still need more people to use the law. If they're interested in issues that are happening, they need to find out information from government as a form of participation. So we're very excited about more people learning about the law, because we think it helps government in understanding what are the issues that people have in the way that their government is being run.
Cayman hopes to continue a working relationship with Bermuda. The goal is to find out what worked and what didn't work once their FOI law is implemented.